Welcome everyone, and thanks for jumping on today's Ask the Coach call. I'm Mike in Boise, and this is David in Houston. And this class is just an opportunity for us to get together and chat about whatever. If you've got any questions, comments, concerns, this is an open forum. If you want to just kind of listen in and follow along with the conversation, you're free to do that as well. Start off asking any. Let's get into talking about a little bit about my soreness. So a little bit about my past. It's been, I want to say, has it been 6 weeks? Has it been 7 weeks? It's been a little bit. So actually, it was the day after Memorial Day.
Oh yeah,
the day before Memorial Day is when the injury happened, and I'm not going to say sedentary, but I have not been using. I've not been exercising regularly because of that. At first, when I was trying to ease my way back into it, I found that all of the swelling was just going right to my finger. And it was my body's way of saying, knock it off. Just let it go for a little bit. We get those cues a lot. Our bodies do talk to us, everybody, whether you're a health and fitness professional or you're just an avid gym junkie. We always get those signals, but listening to them is not always what we choose to do, and I chose to ignore it. And I was reminded, you shouldn't be as active as you are right now. Let it heal, and I've done that. And so yesterday was a welcome back party for me, and we got into a little kettlebell workout with the group that I exercise with, and we kept the load fairly light. I kept the load really light, and everything felt good. Finger felt good, except for the way when I grip a kettlebell, I'm this grip right here, and with this, my ring finger being the injured finger, the kettlebell rubs on the inside right where the crack is, and it wasn't painful, but it wasn't fun, but it was doable, and so I stayed doing it, and we had a very high volume day, mostly body weight. We did a little bit of some weighted front squats, but a lot of body weight stuff, and I'm pretty beat up, pretty much from the rib cage down. And I'm very aware that I have not been as active as normal over these last several weeks. And while, yes, I did keep the load light, I didn't realize how much the volume, the amount of repetitions we had was going to get me. I underestimated it. So
yeah. So if you get detrained at all and then you go back to exercise, expect to feel it a little bit. And that's why we always say slowly get back into things, for sure. Because it takes a while to get super fit, and then it doesn't take too long to detrain.
It's not fair how that works.
I know. But the good thing is that you'll get it back. My question for you is, when you're feeling that sore, how do you kind of deal with that or mitigate it, or what do you do?
Tonight, I became a believer in ice baths when I was working in the athletic training room of school. I never had much exposure to them in high school, any kind of sports or anything. And when I was working in the athletic training room at school, I would see all of our athletes coming in just routinely after practice. It can be even a short practice, a routine practice. They're always getting into the ice baths. And I've got to, I started thinking there's got to be something to it. If all these people are doing it, it hurts too much to not be good for you, and or to not be getting some kind of benefits. And, I knew the benefits of ice cryotherapy, but I never really partook in it. And after I started, I think what actually led me to it was a pretty nasty sprained ankle when I was in college. And I was doing the contrast ice bath, heated up, ice bath, heated up, and I found amazing results with that. That ultimately, that wasn't the cause, but I had tendonitis after that, and I started routinely icing my knee, and ice just helped so much. And so anytime I'm sore now, I like to load the ice tub up with, I like to load the bathtub up with ice and deal with that first 5 minutes until I get numb. But ice is any kind of cold. I love the cold when I'm sore. This is light stretching, and I'm not going to get into any foam rolling yet. I'm too sore for that, and I don't feel like I'm at the right point for that. I need to recover a little bit more before I hit the rollers. But it's going to be an ice bath tonight. I'm going to do some light stretching. I'm staying mobile because I tell you what, if I'm in my seat for more than a half hour without getting up, doing this, and I'm
Yeah.
turning my stand out of a chair into a dip. I'm using my upper body to get me up and out of. So
Yeah.
that's how I handle my soreness, and that's going to be my plan, and it's going to be one day at a time. We'll see.
So
How do you treat
yeah,
soreness?
movement's a big piece of that for me. Because like you said, if it's really bad and you get to sitting down for an hour, especially if you're getting into those bad postures, man, you're gonna feel it even more than usual. And I'm somebody who's saying that right now with sore glutes and sore hamstrings. So yeah, I'm with you, man. But I do some of the rolling too. I don't do much like heat or ice or anything like that. I've just never really gotten into it, but I do a lot of the soft tissue work. And like you said, there's definitely levels to that stuff. So I have a roller that I can still do with my amount of soreness right now. If I was really, with that foam roller, that's kind of an entry level. If you're getting into some of those like lacrosse balls or peanut balls that have the two lacrosse balls, or using like a barbell on things, or something with different pressure points that are a little bit harder, that's not something that I can do right now. I also do have like a Theragun, and I'll use that just like watching a show at night or whatever, just kind of get into some different areas. I'll use that.
You want to talk about that real quick? Not to interrupt, but what's the Theragun? I've heard of the Theracane. What's the Theragun?
Yeah, so it literally looks like a little gun. There's different attachments at the top. You can have ones that just look like the lacrosse balls, but there's like different pointy ones that have like two things, just depending on where you're rolling out or kind of what you're getting into. But it's really nice, especially if you don't want to like be on the floor rolling around. Like literally, if I'm just in bed and I want some relief, or I want to work on some of the fascia or tissues, stuff like that, it's pretty simple. There's some that will cost you a bunch. I'm not exactly sure. I didn't buy it. My fiance bought this one, but I probably use it more than her. It was like $50, I think. You can get one that's like hundreds of dollars.
Is this a mechanical piece? Okay, so it's almost like a jigsaw.
Right. Yeah. Exactly.
I've seen these. Okay.
Yes. Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah. So and there's like you can put it on level 10 and it's really going, or like, so again, you can kind of, it depends on what your level of soreness is or how deep you want to get into that tissue. But that one's really cool. Another thing that I do is I have a little pad, with the little needle, acupuncture pad, and I lay on that just about every night. Just my back. You can stand on it, you can sit on it, you can do whatever. I like laying on it for 30, 45 minutes at night. It just, to me, it kind of feels good and gives me some relief. And that's like $20 on Amazon. That's something when I went for that spectrum training that we were doing as a recovery modality. So I learned that one. It's a investment that, $20 on Amazon, and it's here in a day. I was like, oh, I'm in. So a few things that I do.
I'd like a link to that if you don't mind.
I'll send it to you, man. Yeah,
appreciate it.
For sure.
Austin, so we're talking about soreness. So I was explaining that I had taken a couple days off and came back yesterday, and we had some fun, and I'm feeling the after effects. I'm trying to recall back to yesterday, which was a long time ago. What did we start off doing? It was sets of 50, sets of 25, sets of 12, sets of 6, sets of 3. But I want to say it was Russian swings, double front squat.
Russian swings. No, double front squats was the second one. It was Russian swings, full sit-ups.
Full reach sit-ups.
Full reach sit-ups.
Double unders.
And then double unders.
So it went a set of 50 of all those, a set of 25, a set of 12, a set of 6, a set of 3. And then round 2
was double press.
Yes.
Double squat and jump squats. And I think that one was, that might have been round 3. No. That was the one
That
we
was
did 20, 15, 10, 5 on.
yes.
But did we do something in between that?
No, that was the second one. We had a third one after that.
What was the third one?
I don't remember. It was a long time ago. Regardless, our volume was quite high yesterday, and I'm feeling it right now.
So where are you feeling it, Mike?
Abdominals and lower. I've got nothing in the upper body. So we worked double press pretty hard yesterday. But yeah, we typically don't train abdominals, and I'm going to call it abdominally, where the classic sit-up variety. We don't do that. And for some reason yesterday, it just kind of fit well with the flow of everything. So my abdominals are rocked pretty hard. My glutes, my hammies, my quads, my calves, all else as well.
Mm-hmm.
But it was
Yeah.
fun.
So what I would say for people that are coming off of an injury or in a situation where they haven't been able to exercise or do fitness for a while, tiptoeing back in, and then kind of playing with your frequencies so you don't have one session that's huge. If you have, it's about that weekly volume and the amount of work that you're getting in throughout the week. So if you have an opportunity to do like a full body workout on Monday, Wednesday, Friday, and they're kind of little workouts, especially if you don't have that fitness level right now, you're going to feel much better, and you're going to actually like practice those movements multiple times too. So that's a way I like getting people back in the groove.
Yeah. Agreed.
I know I'm doing that even with my squats and stuff right now, squats and like hinging and stuff like that. I'm doing 3 different days of squatting, all different, like back squat, front squat, overhead squat, just because I have, been doing dumbbell squats and like lunges and stuff like that. So just getting back in the groove for me with some different variations has helped a lot.
Yeah. What percentage would you say you're at right now? Since you haven't been doing a proper barbell squat in a while, are you working at like 50% of what you were? Do you have any kind of
Yeah, so I wasn't doing free barbell movements really going into, for a while, just because of the fitness centers that I was going to. We were going to like Planet Fitness and doing what we could, and like I would get some workouts early or late at our fitness center, and we don't have a squat rack there, so it was the longest time. And I'd gotten up to like mid 4s on like squats and deadlifts and stuff for working sets. And for me now, I'm like low 2s, making sure my volume's not high, making sure everything's pristine, because I know I'll get back to that spot. So, like half of what I would use for working sets before right now. Just make sure there's no injury. I'm not trying to win anything. I don't have anything coming up. So just making sure I'm healthy and strong pretty much.
Yeah. And do you consider this a negative? Do you feel like the last 4 months have been a setback physically for you?
Absolutely not.
Yeah. You've gotten there's been a lot of good that has been coming
for
from
sure.
this.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great point.
And I think that people need to realize, I've spoken with some members and some friends who, are a little bit upset. I'm nowhere near as strong as I was, or my speed's not as quick. And they're looking at all of those quantifiable things where numbers have dropped a little bit, but also have to understand your body appreciates this change, the downtime, the rest. Your body's like that. So it's been a kind of flying under the radar, but it's been a good break.
Yeah, it's always good to switch things up, and for people to know that, okay, I don't necessarily need a gym to get a workout in. If you're not feeling it, or the thing that's keeping you from getting a workout is, oh man, I don't want to drive over to the gym, or I don't want to do this or that, or just like getting dressed and like presentable for the gym. It sounds terrible. So for people to know, hey, I can do a HIIT workout here at the house in 15 minutes and feel so much better, or do some type of rolling or stretching or yoga at the house, and feel a lot better and know that I'm, healthier. That's huge. And for me personally, it made me take the plunge to get like some equipment, so I don't have to like worry about not having certain things at
Sure.
my fitness center. So that's I'm coming out of it better.
Yeah. I think a lot of people are following that lead as well, and have seen that working out at home is pretty nice. And like you said, I don't have to commute. I don't have to share a locker room with anybody. I don't have to worry about carrying a gym bag. It's nice.
Yeah.
It's really nice.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. If you could, and you don't need anything fancy and elaborate. You don't need name brand stuff. Just, you could get, go by the Walmart or the secondhand sports store and pick up some dumbbells. Dumbbells are dumbbells. It's a one-time investment. They don't need maintenance. They don't break. It's a good investment.
Yeah, some dumbbells and some different types of bands. If I were to, say, okay, you got $100 or something, I would go for those bands first, and then when you have some more money to put into stuff, just start adding little things, and by the end of that, you'll have all you need pretty much.
Yeah, you don't even need a jump rope. We've seen, 'cause everyone that we're working out with, no one has jump ropes, so we're doing imaginary jump ropes.
As long as you're jumping, yeah.
You don't get tripped up on your feet. I could knock out a set of 50 unbroken without getting tripped up, no problem. I can't do that with a rope.
Yeah,
I've never done double under so consecutively before. Never been so easy to do a double under.
Yeah. We've all mastered the double under over these last 4 months. 4 months. Yeah.
I'm sure. Yeah, you're getting triples, right? Your
Yeah.
hands are just...
For sure.
My imagination isn't quite that good.
We had one the other day. I like keeping workouts fun. I like using buddy systems, and so if I'm in a class and Austin's in there, I'm going to throw Austin on the row machine and have him row for 500 meters. But while he's doing that, everyone else is doing something equally as difficult, but they all have to continue doing what they're doing until Austin meets his 500-meter goal. So we pulled out one of those last week, I think it was, and I threw my wife on the row. We got a row machine at home, so I threw her on the row machine, and she was the one forced to row. Well, she was only rowing 250s. She was keeping a quick pace though, and everyone else is doing something while she's suffering on the row machine. The row machine, that's my biggest love-hate relationship is the row machine. I love that thing, but I hate that thing so much. And the row machine, what I really, really like about it is it's quantifiable. I can tell someone to say, hey, why don't you go row 1,000 meters? Yes, I'm happy with 1,000 meters, but I want to know what kind of pace you rode that in. Did you jog the 1,000 meters? Did you sprint the 1,000 meters? And a lot can change with your workouts based on your speed on that row machine.
That's so huge. Like having what you're doing be quantifiable, so you can measure your progress in the short term and long term, and kind of gauge your intensities a little bit more. That's so huge.
Yeah, I love that for gauging. It's interesting when I talk to someone and I ask them, have you ever tried the row machine? And they'll tell me, yeah, I usually row this. I'll sit on here and row for about a half an hour every morning. And then we have the discussion. Well, let's change the intensity and let's change the amount of time spent on there. And it's a completely different workout. Completely different. But yes, yeah. I do love a row machine.
We all had our bands out last week. I think it was Friday, wasn't it?
It was, but it didn't really work as expected because of the whole variety of bands and what we were working with. But yeah, I like creativity. I do not like workouts becoming monotonous and boring. And that's a hurdle that we have with limited equipment. You've got to get really creative to keep yourselves entertained. So, we just did this last week, or we just did this 2 weeks ago. I like new, fresh workouts that are always exciting and changing. And with dumbbells and kettlebells, really got to work. So we're trying to keep it exciting and, changing up quantity and volume and all of that fun stuff.
I think the pace of workouts is a big way that you can change things up, and there's a bunch of ways to do that. And I think it's a good like injury and pain prevention tool too, and it keeps it from being monotonous, like you said. So an example of that is with myself or with clients. Sometimes we'll change up the tempo of certain exercises or do like speed work or something, and I find that with myself even too, that if you're having some pain in certain areas, like people don't understand that there's different types of like contractile fibers in those muscles, and every muscle group is meant to, contract fast and contract slow, and different muscles have different percentages of those fibers, right? But they're all like meant to do that. So even if you're used to grinding slowly through like heavier loads, if you throw in some speed work, man, it's going to change things up for you, and you might feel better for sure.
Yeah.
This guy behind is definitely, I think he's type 2 dominant.
He's not built for those long distance runs, is he?
Yeah.
Another thing I like to keep in mind is limiting the rest. When you limit rest and when you become effective with your workouts, good example, CubeFit. We're on CubeFit for 10 minutes and we're not stopping. And if you're not sweating at the end of a 10-minute CubeFit class, you're not doing something right, because, what we're doing is taking what would typically take 15 to 20 minutes. We're doing the same thing. We're just eliminating the rest time. There's no rest. And when you work at that higher rate of intensity, you're a lot more efficient. We reduce time spent exercising.
Yeah. And I can echo that, because on Friday, so Mike and Nick were talking about Tabata intervals and different types of like circuit training and stuff like that. So last Friday on CubeFit Strength, I did the Tabata class with people who I was like, come on, join me if you don't want to do it alone, and you can suffer through it with me and other people that are doing the program on Friday. And we did that. So that's 4 exercises, 4 sets per exercise, 20 seconds on, 10 seconds off. And it was the same. It was actually shorter than a usual like CubeFit Strength class, but with with only 4 exercises, you're really, my chest, my triceps were sore the next day. It wasn't a hard workout for me, but just because you're honing in on certain places and you're changing up the rest periods, I was sore the next day.
Mm-hmm. Sure. Variety. Your body likes variety.
Absolutely.
It really does. Bodies are very, very good at becoming efficient at things. Your bodies adapt, and your body likes to be tricked.
And that can be good or bad.
True. This is true.
It's good to get strong in some areas. It's better to get strong in every area.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. Agreed. Austin, do you have any comments or questions or anything?
No, not really.
All right.
Came to hang out, chat. I always love how for some reason the forward you sent me must have a different nameplate, because it comes in as Mike Erickson instead of Michael Erickson. Like,
yeah,
it's super weird.
I don't understand, because I'm Michael by email, but I'm really Mike. And how did you end up getting Mike when I'm stuck with Michael?
Well, and I come in as Mike because I work off your forward for this one. I never have this problem on Thursdays that I actually found the CubeFit email for and signed up for, but since I never got this one, I had you forward it to me. And because of that, it comes in as Mike Erickson, but I don't know why it comes in as Mike when you come in as Michael. It's very,
that's interesting.
Zoom.
I haven't noticed that yet, but until today, that is interesting.
Yeah, such a great program. Yeah. Let's see. So let's talk. We got 5 minutes. Let's talk shoes.
Ooh,
but for running.
Okay. I'm going to sit on the back burner here because
for what?
I'm not
for running.
For running. Oh
well,
man.
We know you hate shoes, so
it's true.
That's the big part.
Yeah, I got Crocs on right now.
Right now too. Like I haven't left the apartment yet today. That's fine. So like I ran 5 miles on Saturday, and I've had probably the same workout shoes. Well, it's about 10 months now.
Mm-hmm.
I actually got them right
Yeah, let's
next to me,
see.
and they are pretty worn down.
Mhm.
Pretty smooth. The other ones I think were
Are the soles soft on those?
the soles.
Yeah.
Little bit, not really.
Okay.
Mostly hard. So my feet and my legs were just killing me on Saturday, but especially Sunday. Like I was planning on hiking on Sunday, and I woke up and just from hip or from thigh down, just my legs are just sore as can be. And I told the instructor I work with on that, just like, hey, my legs are dead. And I told Mike this yesterday too, because we were doing those double front squats. I was doing single front squats for the 20, the 15, and the 10 because I wouldn't have been able to do double for all 50 of them. So I just did the last 5 as double. And I had new running shoes for a while. I just hadn't broken them out yet. And just these guys are just trash. So what's the usual life expectancy you expect out of your running shoes?
Good question.
Ooh, that's a good question. And I don't have a good answer to that. The only thing I know about running shoes is get them formed to your foot and make sure if it's long distance that it's a soft sole. That is the extent to my knowledge on running shoes.
Yeah, running's an interesting sport. I mean, I do have experience in the past. I've ran, I think, 7 half marathons, and in my time running, I had gotten fitted multiple times for both inserts and my shoe as well. And I've gotten 2 different custom orthotics, both completely different from each other, and neither really seem to help. I've done I think it's a Dr. Scholl's where you do it scans your feet. Didn't get much relief from that. I get shin splints really bad when I run. And so that was my biggest hurdle with running. I found that New Balance worked best for me when I ran. I tried so many different types of shoes. Nike are way too narrow. New Balance you can get adjustable with. So those work for me. I do have a fat foot. But best advice is to go to a footwear place that will fit you, that will work with you, and see what they can do. I mean, like I said, I had 2 different trips to those stores. I got 2 different orthotics each time. They didn't really work for me, but that doesn't mean that what they gave me was incorrect. It's most likely my running style. I was never coached on running. We just assume we know how to run. If you could move, if you can get to point A from point B quickly, most of us assume we're runners. But just like with weightlifting, with squats, you don't walk into a gym and put the load on your back and squat. Sure, you're actually squatting, but is it correct? And that's why we've got weightlifting coaches. Running coaches are just as valuable as weightlifting coaches. And so that could, you're a strong dude, Austin. I've worked with you for a long time. You've got the strength to run. I just think that it could be a mechanic issue.
I'm pretty sure my form is poor.
Yeah. And I think really most people are, because like I said, when you go out for a run, your goal is to get from point A to point B in a set amount of time without much thought about, is everything aligned correctly? Am I striking with the heel as I'm supposed to? Am I driving out my big toe? What's my arms doing? Do I have too much tension in my shoulders? There's so many things that we don't think about because it's, again, just A to B. But running coaches are a huge help in running. I never did see one, and my running career may have been different had I. But I think that's a really good place to start as well. So you can go into one of those shoe fitting places, talk to them, see what happens. And maybe you might not even need to get into a running coach after that. Maybe that does something drastically and changes your gait or your stride. If that doesn't do anything, that's when I say go see a coach.
Okay. Like I don't really need the running as much as I just need the cardio. But like actually being like a little more loose and having better form, I think would be a lot nicer.
It's a means to an end, right? So you're just like trying to get through it, and that's when you're not thinking about technique. Because I've been there too, and I'm done with a run. I'm like, okay, my aerobic capacity is fine, but now my like ankles and hips are torched because I was just trying to get through it. So definitely work through that technique. Yeah.
That's exactly, I came to that point in my running career. That's when I hung up my shoes. I just, by the time I would finish a half marathon, the race day was always so much fun. I love the excitement. I loved all the activity and the hype of race day, but the training itself was vicious. And by the time I would be done with that race, I've invested 6-7 weeks in training for this. Well, now everything else that I enjoy more, the kettlebells, the weightlifting, has taken a back seat to that. And now once I start back, I'm starting back further than, and it's just, that's why I hung up my shoes. But yeah. All right, we're a little bit beyond time. Didn't realize that it crept up. That was really quick. So did that help you, Austin? Give you a little bit of suggestion?
I did. I'll leave you guys with one quote from my high school track coach about sprinting. He always told me he loved putting me in sprinting races against skinny kids because it was like watching a bunch of gazelles run with a steam engine just in their midst. And I was just like, what are you trying to say? Is like, it's clear you run from more of a football power kind of ideology than like an actual like running ideology. But he never really offered me any help besides that. So.
I like your coach. I like that. That's funny.
I just thought his like, yeah, everybody else runs like gazelles, but you run like it's trained. That makes me feel great. It's just a funny thing.
That means you'd be tough to slow down, Austin. Once you get that momentum going.
Yeah, agility's never been my strong suit. Let's put that way. That's all right, though. Sorry we went over time, but thanks.
No, that's fine. I love this class.
That's
that was a great
way
win.
to end it.
That was a great class. Thank you guys. We'll look forward to seeing you guys on Thursday.
Yep.
Sounds good. See you then.
Yep. Take care, guys.